What is up, Valkyrie? I got the camera back on. How you doing? Hello. So I'm gonna make a part 2 for this collab since, why not? Got a lot of hype going on. There's really good gears in this collab. And we'll go over our last events. Dude, I swear at some point I will iron this green screen behind me. This chroma key drives me nuts. Alright, so Chain Soldier 2 collab. What is left? We just finished up our world raid. Hopefully you did your 50 runs of this. Ateam was actually pretty generous. Usually they make you run 100 of the world raids. This time they cut that in half, only down to 50. If you did your milestones, you got the 2 little artifact pink baubles here to make your Motto Peach artifacts. Those things are crazy artifact power creep, being able to give 20% augments to Adonis and Venus Slayers for 80% total on an artifact. That's unreal. Not to mention the Ren's hair accessory is super good with a 30% airborne coverage on an accessory. I used both of my 5 stars in my Uchi clear. And finally we have our LCB, our limited connect battle, and I hate LCBs. Does anybody like LCBs? They suck. Yeah, team building is like one of the most fun parts of the game, but it kind of loses its value if you have to rebuild your team every day. I hate it. At least Himari costs 0, but god dang. And to wrap the collab up, we will have a 4-day Coliseum battle. This one is all humans, so good luck if you don't have PDL. Alright, so let's get out of here. Hopefully you got more check marks than I mean, it's pretty tough. I actually did miss a day running the S5 just because, whatever. But it looks like they give you a couple extra days, which is nice, so I won't miss out on these extra. And I've noticed Tenka earrings is insane for PvP. No restriction whatsoever. It can go on literally anybody. And these openers are not bad. Underworld shot prevents master and has a chance to stun. And the poison opener is way stronger in PvE than you think. That damage will be ticking every turn. Like I said before, about 1 turn of battle is about 5 seconds. So that's just over 1.5 minutes of battle. Definitely be maxing this piece out. It's insanely important. All right, so other than that, hopefully you did your score attack special challenge runs. Very nice to get those skill crystals when you can farm them for stamina. Free summon ticket challenge. All that is log in, run an expedition every day, which if you're not doing that, what are you doing? And if you have a progenitor unlocked, then it's the last day to finish that up. I still got to run more grand arena battles. They make you do so many of that in the time frame, and it's ridiculous. Jumping back over to a quick update that they have modified how Arcana chain effects work, and they've made them even stronger. This effect will occur this Friday the 27th, so you will now be able to stack multiple Arcana chain effects and activate them together, and any of the stored elemental energy will not be consumed the first time another action skill that applies the chain occurs. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be really strong in PvE, and it's going to be deadly in PvP if people are really optimizing it and using it correctly. They have new deals on the charge site, but honestly, it's some hero boxes, and they are not worth it. Whenever it says box, if it's a box, that's bad. That means you get a random one. If it's a voucher, you can pick. So I guarantee you, if you already have some of the people in the box selection, you're going to be buying a dupe here. It's almost never worth it. RNG will bite you if you try it too. This new one has the basic parallels in it. So I assure you, if you're only missing like 1 to 4 of these, you're going to see a dupe from that box. And yeah, you'll get an ascension if it's a parallel, but that's a lot of money for 1 ascension. Don't encourage Ateam with this. This is not worth it. And finally, we have our last 2 banners. Ren came out, and she of course is crazy. Like I was saying, everybody should be holding for Ren. They did go and do a very scummy move, which a lot of people are not happy about, and that is the fact that they put her enlightenment locked behind pushing the banner to step 30, and that's kind of intense. Now her base awakening is pretty strong, so losing out on her enlightenment isn't like the end of the world. All right, so basically what they ended up doing was putting her enlightenment rune on step 30. You got to take cycle 1 to step 30 to get it, otherwise you are not enlightening her. And man, this was like this is like the one miss from the collab. That's about as scummy as you can get. Not a nice move. I mean, yeah, the rest of the collab gears and stuff have been decent enough, even though the franchise is like unknown. Like, if you know this anime, good for you. But her kit is pretty crazy. Yeah, so it seems as though her base awakening passive is the all ally female amp, and 50% is very good on a constant. There's nothing to scoff at that. And if you wanted to push to her enlightenment, then it switches over to baptism of fear, so you get self-dark rejection, which basically makes you near immune to dark damage. and increases your attack and defense, and then gives all allies all the other elements boosted up. So it's kind of a weird trade-off. To be honest, the Awakening seems stronger in more PvE scenarios than the Enlightenment does. I had a guildie pulled her on step 1, and then he was like, well, I don't really want to go to step 30 now for the Enlightenment if the Awakening's so strong. And yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, this is technically the strongest female amp in the game. There's never been a stronger female amp than all ally constant 50%. I mean, her other passives are just ridiculous. Remember, she was infused with Venus and Lift's power, so I mean, she has all field resistances. She has Pit Cage, she has Dividing Offense, Absolute Pit, and this SAR, this is a 50% SAR down to all enemies, so very strong in PvP. I've already had to fight her in Guild Wars. She is nuts. She has an Alternative Synergy, Chaos Blood, Savior Safeguard, and Sacred Cheer. Like, goodness gracious, they did not slack on this girl. She has the same Arcana chains for any other human. Now that Arcana chains are going to start to be stronger, man, it's going to be deadly. She's got the debuffer roll as well. For any of those who did not know this already, this is able to ignore Omega status. So she's able to spread debuffs to Omega Acer as a human. Only special effect debuffers can do that in the game right now, though. That was only her passives, Arcana Chain and Roll. Her actual action skill is a Self-Dark Ripple with both amps maxed out and a Fortify. Then all ally has got some good components here. All enemies SAR down, couple CCs that ignore Grace, Dark Shred, M-Depth Shred, and Unmitigatable Damage. Then after the main hit, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 more hits, so it's a Quinn hit in total. Everything ignores everything, and 3 of the hits apply Despair. So if you landed any of these slow Shadow Bounds or Erode, they're gonna get despaired even longer if they target the specific person here later in the kit. The Grace is pretty good because it's also unmitigatable damage, and quite a bit. 500% on Grace, that's a lot of damage. And the Grace applies Ill Omen, so their buffs are gonna get shortened. And it's also a very strong Fortify, coming back with max health, full SAR, and an instant skill gauge bar filled up. Not to mention, you're shredding an entire enemy skill gauge bar and applying Ill Omen 3 times, so if they're not resisting that, they lose all their buffs if she comes back. Her second life is like one of the strongest fortifies that they've released because of that just by itself. I mean, I know other than that, I didn't go over Tenka, and in my first video I didn't go over Kyoka's passives either, but Kyoka's passives were not as interesting as Mira's. The most notable being this Innocent Spring, which is nice. It's a 75% SAR up initially, which is pretty good. And then decent self buffs. The anti-charm's nice, but there's already a lot of charm immunities in the game. And the main component would be this Leaf Rebellion, giving all ally 40% beast and Earth 50 up. That's really great coverage, so you don't need it elsewhere. That's just like twice as good as what Beryl does. But as far as Tenka, I didn't even go over her that much. I didn't look. I just did my discount steps just to try to get lucky. But she's also got an Ascension condition, so her all ally is pretty strong. If you pull 2 copies, the Light Discord Water is going to be very strong. Always look for Discords now too. That's like one of the newer PvE power creeps. The all enemies pretty good too. You got 2 different element shreds at A1, so pull her once, you get that. Or if you don't want the water element shred, you can add in another skill gauge down at A1. So you have some pretty crazy choices there. The CCs are pretty strong even without the A5. Being Holy Chain, Celestial Shot, and Thunder Chain at base, they all ignore Grace. Celestial Shot and Thunder Chain hit everything except an Omega Acer. So then aside from that, her all enemy hit has 2 damage components that are unmitigatable, then a 1, 2 more damaging hits after that, and each one of those is also a double hit, so it's really like 6 hits of damage that are all unmitigatable. A front enemy Shade at A4 is kind of interesting, but Shade hasn't been relevant in a long time. That's just kind of an extra thing for PvP if you get her to A4. Typical on dodge stuff and pretty typical on Grace effects, just more skill gauge control. These collab heroes have a lot of skill gauge manipulation, acceleration, and control on the battle. Other than that, there was the Alliance Commander Mariana, which I think she's trash. I'm not going to talk about her anymore. Her banner's already gone, but apparently these Alliance Commanders are not collab exclusives. They will probably be coming back, and there's an indicator for that because the Alliance Commander Dielle banner lasts 3 days longer than the collab banners does. So that's a good indication that they are not collab specific and that they will be returning at some point. So if you're deciding what to do with your diamonds, it's still going to be better to pull on the collab girls because they are leaving in 4 days. These Alliance Commanders will probably be coming back. But I want to shout out something really cool that probably not a lot of people care about, and that there's only a handful of characters in Valkyrie Connect that have enough variants to have one of each element. Now that they've introduced a fire DL, it gets added to that list. The only element type of DL that was missing was fire. So I really want her for my set completion. Plus she's just really good. She's basically just another PDL. She has pretty much all the same stuff that you would see in regular PDL's kit. She even has the same light and dark amps at A1 and A2 like regular PDL. She has the skill gauge, stack up, shadow clone, and sure shot and feint at base. Self embolden at base is really nice. The divine wings only comes at A5. They put divine wings behind A5 a lot. She's got a fortify, really good damage, and then it's a triple hit. All this damage is non-mitigatable. So yeah, this girl's no slouch. Her on dodges are pretty good. Just let her counter stuff and hope the enemy doesn't have sure shot. She'll be murking them with on dodge damage. And her fortify is more typical. It doesn't do any skill gauge manipulation, but she comes back at full health with full SAR and some good buffs to start. Passives, I think it's pretty typical. I think most of them match like the base DL, except her shreds are fire element shreds instead of earth. And then her multi-killer, I'm pretty sure that's the same one as base PDL, but another 30% all enemy to female. And then she's got the special effect gauge filler roll. So whenever she action skills, you just get more skill gauge on top of the 30 that she's already providing. So I still am probably going to go into Ren. If I do any more summons, I'll be recording them. I still got a lot of summons that I'm trying to edit to like post that I've done over the past couple months. So keep a lookout for that as well. There's not really too much else to worry about. I just wanted to go over artifacts real quick. So the 2 Mato Peaches that you hopefully got from your milestone rewards of the World Raid are insane. If you don't have them crafted, get them crafted. Now what I did with mine originally was I had 1 Adonis and 1 Venus, but in order to clear tier 2 beast a little bit easier, I switched them both over to Adonis. But you'll probably be finding it helpful to run 1 Adonis, 1 Venus. But I mean, it literally took me less than 10k rubies to switch it from max Venus to max Adonis. So it's really not, it's like a drop in the bucket for an in-game player. But these things are insane. 80% max augments that's artifact power creep right there. You want these. They will be so helpful. The only thing is that only humans can use them. So any collab girl, the DLs, yada yada. As far as the Vectar set, the blade and the gauntlets are probably going to be your most go-to. I did make one of the boots as an HP option just because it's got such a huge HP stat on top of the 30% and then extra opener on top. So I did this as an HP filler option. If you just need flat bulk or HP to survive something, it's just an option to throw on if you don't need them to be doing a lot of damage. But otherwise, you should probably be focusing all of your artifact materials into the blades and gauntlets because the axe has a defensive base stats as well as just all stats. The blade and gauntlets, however, have an extra 10% of whatever damage type it is, so that's kind of a little bit better than 15% all stats in my opinion. Plus it also gives you the 3-turn shadow clone opener, so if you're not already covering that on an opener, it's also really great. This is all I've done so far. I focused on my earth and my light ones to help out with my Yggdrasil and Asgard compositions, and plus I needed these for tier 2 beast for my all earth Filsius team and my all light Managarm team. But yeah, hopefully you pushed the world raid really well and you got a lot of these, so now they can just sit here until you're ready to craft them out. But 15% element killers for a total of 60 is also part artifact power creep, so do not miss the chance to craft a bunch of these and definitely load yourself up on them. One last self plug, Bloodthirst has been climbing. We are guild rank top 10 now, so we are taking Guild Wars seriously. If you are active in Guildra, Genesis War, and like Guild Wars, then maybe here is a home for you. Here's the invite code for my Discord server. You're welcome to join. If you're a new player, I help new players out literally every day. I'm much more active on Discord. You can reach me much more quickly there. And if you have a drive and a passion for this game and you are already a strong in-game player, this could be your home. That being said, if you're a newer player and you're not ready to jump into in-game, I also have an academy up and running now. We're already A rank in that. Got a lot of new players in here. This was just so fun for me that I decided to do it all over again. So feel free to apply to Bloodthirst if you're a late game player, or BLD Academy if you're a new player. Join the Discord if you'd like, and I look forward to hearing from you. Ask any other questions in the comments and I'll get to you. But with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are looking forward to more Valkyrie content. I've definitely got a lot more in the pipeline, I promise. We've got the whole Heroic Wander realms coming. I just need time to edit that. I'll go over all my teams so people don't have to be asking. You're still going to be asking, but that's okay. That's what I want you to be doing. So until next time, everybody, Foots out. Cheers.